The northern and northeastern regions of China recently experienced devastating floods. Hebei, in particular, is still reeling from the aftermath. Videos captured by netizens in Fuguangyin Village, Baizhou City, Hebei, depict the submerged areas with water reportedly reaching half a meter deep in some parts.
Today is August 27th. Look at this water, it's still half a meter deep. This is my factory. It's starting to rain again. Look, the water now reaches my knees. This is the real situation of my factory. See how the workshop and its equipment are all ruined. The water level has already decreased by almost 2 meters. The current water depth might still be over 30 centimeters. Over here, the water from Shengfeng village is still deep in some places, reaching 1.5 meters, and in shallower areas, it's more than 40 centimeters.
Displaced victims without homes have not been properly relocated. This is one of the resettlement points in Baizhou. The video shows that the victims lack even basic living assurances, with many constructing temporary shelters from plastic sheets. Daily activities like eating and sleeping have become challenging, evoking a sense of sorrow in those who watch. Unfortunately, recent forecasts predict another bout of rain. It remains to be seen how these makeshift shelters will withstand the incoming storms. In recent days, 15 provinces in China have been hit by heavy or torrential rain, posing a new flood challenge. Provinces like Hunan, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang have all faced extreme rainfall and flooding. From the night of August 26 to 8 a.m. on August 27th, Shaanxi County in Jiangsu, Hunan, experienced its heaviest rainfall since 1998. The entire county witnessed heavy to torrential rain, with a maximum cumulative rainfall of 256 millimeters. As a result, 1,164 disaster-stricken residents were evacuated. More than 300 geological disaster points were identified, and 18 dangerous road sections were temporarily closed. Videos show that the raging river water overflowed the bridge piers, with crops and houses along the bank submerged. Cities also faced severe flooding, with residential buildings surrounded by fast-flowing water reaching the height of the first-floor balconies. Starting August 27th, Jiangsu province encountered its most intense rainfall this year, with precipitation reaching 300 millimeters. Videos depict severe urban flooding in Huai'an in Jiangsu, with both vehicles and pedestrians submerged. Despite the heavy rain, a delivery person can be seen struggling to wade through waist-deep water to deliver orders. On the morning of August 27th, towns like Damrey, Haishan, and Yuchang in Yuhuan City within Zhejiang province faced torrential rain, causing some rivers to overflow and flood roads and streets. Video shows severe urban flooding, many cars floating in the river, with some being swept away by the floods. As of the 28th, both Jiangsu and Zhejiang provinces have issued 20 meteorological warnings, including those for heavy rain, thunderstorms, and gusty winds. On that day, the top 10 regions with the most rainfall over 24 hours were all in Jiangsu. According to China News Network, Typhoon Saola 9 and Typhoon Haiwei 11 may soon make landfall along the Guangdong coast, bringing another round of torrential rain and flooding. Saola is currently moving in the southeast direction of Taiwan at a distance of 460 kilometers. The areas near the center of Saola are experiencing winds of force 14 to 16 with gusts of 17 or higher. It's predicted that Saola will move northwest at a speed of 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, potentially making landfall or brushing past the southern coast of Taiwan on the night of August 30th, then approaching the coast from central Fujian to central Guangdong. It may make landfall in the eastern part of Guangdong between the night of September 1st and the morning of September 2nd. We have noticed that Typhoon Saola this time, just like the fifth typhoon, Doksuri, previously seen to be controlled by an invisible hand. They both bizarrely skirted around Taiwan, heading straight for mainland China. Moreover, Typhoon 11, Haiwei, is forming over the surface of the Northwest Pacific Ocean. Along with this year's Typhoon 9, Saola, and the tropical storm 10, Damrey, they form a triangular intersection influencing one another and adding uncertainty to their respective trajectories. Additionally, according to mainland media reports, since August 25th, a southwestern vortex has caused widespread heavy rain in regions such as the Sichuan Basin. As this southwestern vortex intensifies and moves eastward along the shear line, areas like Hunan and Chongqing have experienced continuous heavy downpours, with some areas even witnessing extreme rainfalls. This has led to the largest rainfall event of the year in the Yangtze River Basin, resulting in a noticeable increase in water inflow to the Three Gorges Dam. On August 22nd, the Yangtze River Water Resources Commission announced that the Three Gorges Reservoir would experience its largest flood since the beginning of this year's flood season. To prepare for the upcoming flood, the reservoir started to increase its discharge volume daily from August 22nd, reaching a flow of 27,300 cubic meters per second by August 25th. According to real-time water conditions from Yangtze River Hydrological Network, at 2 p.m. on August 29th, the water level of the Three Gorges Reservoir stood at 156 meters. This was 11 meters above the flood control limit of 145 meters. In fact, severe rain disasters have been persistent in China recently. On August 20th, heavy rainfall struck most of the towns within Zhejiang County in Fujian province. Some even experienced torrential downpours. Due to the intense rain, 6 small reservoirs in Jiangsu County overflowed, and infrastructure such as greenhouses, rice crops, and roads were inundated or damaged. On August 18th, Dongguan in Guangdong was hit by a strong rainstorm, causing urban flooding in several areas. Some streets were submerged, cars were stranded, and even refrigerators were washed away. On the morning of the same day, Shenzhen also experienced a torrential downpour. As reported by many netizens, after just over an hour of rain, widespread flooding was seen, with some areas submerged under more than a meter of water. Streets were transformed into rivers, making movement difficult. Roads collapsed, underground parking lots were inundated, some cars and even people were washed away. Netizens commented, "The drainage systems are the same nationwide, and every time it rains, streets become drainage channels. Why do most cities in China experience such situations while other countries do not see these issues within their cities?" On August 18th, state media, the paper interviewed Wang Kai, the head of the China Urban Planning and Design Institute. According to Wang, this year's rainfall was extremely intense, with Beijing and Hebei experiencing rainfall levels that occur once in 140 years. Yet many cities are only designed to handle a 100-year event, and some even just a 50-year event. This time, the rainstorm exceeded the designated flood handling capacity. However, our research indicates that most cities in China design their drainage system based on a 1-year reoccurrence standard, with only a few areas reaching a 5-year standard. It has been previously noted by experts that China's drainage technology is based on former Soviet standards, lagging behind developed countries by about 30 years. In recent reports, the inadequacies of China's drainage system have been highlighted, especially as they frequently face challenges during urban flooding events. But little change has been made. For instance, Wuhan only upgraded its drainage design standard to handle a once in 3 years rainstorm in 2014. Before that, Wuhan's drainage system could only handle annual rainstorm events. Even in major cities like Beijing, apart from special areas like Tiananmen and the Olympic Park designed for 10 or 5-year events, the majority can only handle rainfalls ranging from 36 to 45 millimeters per hour. Beyond this, Beijing's drainage system is overwhelmed, resulting in frequent street flooding. In contrast, major cities abroad have generally higher quality urban drainage standards than China. For example, New York's standard is for a 10 to 15-year event, and Tokyo is for a 5 to 10-year event. Some netizens have pointed out that China's low drainage design standards can be attributed to the former Soviet Union. The initial construction of China's sewage project began in the 1950s, primarily adopting Soviet-designed concepts. At the time, the Soviet Union considered building broader drainage pipe as bourgeois problem. They neglected scientific approaches to drainage system construction. This has led to Chinese rainwater pipe designs being generally undersized. The design and capacity of drainage systems vary across countries, and China is no exception. While Western developed countries typically design their drainage based on the flood risk levels of specific areas, such as prioritizing wider pipes in areas prone to waterlogging, but China's approach is different. Here, the diameter of the drainage pipe is determined by the political significance of the area. For instance, important areas in Beijing are equipped with larger diameter drains. Moreover, cities in southern China like Shenzhen and Guangdong experience heavy rainfall, but these cities' drainage standards are adopted from the former Soviet Union, a region known for its colder climate and lesser rainfall. As a result, it's unsurprising that flooding in these areas is a common occurrence during rainstorms. A saying goes, drainage systems are the conscience of a city. Unfortunately, it seems that many officials in the Chinese Communist Party might be lacking this conscience. These officials often prioritize personal gains and promotions over the well-being of the public. Visible construction projects often cut corners, let alone invisible underground drainage works, which typically end up being shoddily built. In the urban construction process, officials tend to favor surface-level aesthetics projects, displaying a clear tendency to prioritize above ground over underground. Drainage systems are costly projects with no returns on investment. In China, the significance of various construction projects often takes precedence over drainage designs. When there's a conflict between two construction projects, those contributing to GDP growth are prioritized, while resource-intensive drainage projects get sidelined. Hence, municipal departments tend to go with the least costly options, choosing the smallest pipe diameter and building minimal drainage outlets. Redesigning drainage networks is a massive undertaking, often associated with huge costs due to a lack of pre-planned spaces. Upgrading these pipelines frequently requires significant investments. Furthermore, spending big doesn't always guarantee effectiveness. The contracts for municipal projects are often awarded to those with connections. Once these connected individuals secure the projects, they typically offer kickbacks to relevant leaders. After numerous subcontracts, less than half of the initial funds might be generally spent on the project. As a result, the quality of the construction is frequently subpar. Compared to underground drainage projects, officials are keen on launching larger projects that promise more lucrative returns. On July 6 of this year, several Chinese online accounts claimed that Zhejiang City in Hunan province invested 3.4 billion yuan to lay marble tiles over a 22-kilometer stretch of the Jiangsu River. Despite the Zhejiang government clarifying this is misinformation, they confirmed an investment of 3.4 billion for so-called river management. In recent years, the ambitious Sponge City project has gained traction among officials. As such, initiatives receive significant national funding. A sponge city is designed to absorb rainwater through improved urban planning and infrastructure, utilizing buildings, roads, green spaces, and water systems. Since April 2015, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development has announced 2 batches of pilot sponge cities that receive financial support from the central government. This initiative is expensive, with construction costs estimated between 100 million to 150 million yuan per square kilometer. The central government plans to fund 15 to 20% of these costs, with the rest expected to come from local governments and private developers. But due to imperfect policies, attracting private investment has been a challenge. Even with significant support for the Sponge City project, it can't provide an immediate solution to urban waterlogging issues. Such systems are designed for specific rainfall thresholds. In cases of extremely heavy rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters to 200 millimeters, the city's primary drainage system is a frontline defense. For instance, in Jiang's pilot plan, by 2020, the designated rainfall control for the Sponge City project was only 28 millimeters, falling short of the annual flood control standard. Unlike other countries that are shifting towards permeable surfaces, the impermeable surface area in Chinese city is still growing at an alarming rate of 6.5% annually. This growth goes hand in hand with the decline of aquatic ecosystems like lakes and wetlands. The natural drainage system that once existed in cities are being destroyed. Take Wuhan as an example. According to the Municipal Water Authority, there were over 200 lakes in Wuhan in 2002, but now only 166 remain. The most drastic reduction is observed in the central city area, dwindling from 127 lakes in 1949 to just 43 today. It's no surprise, then, that of the 30 national sponge city pilot projects, almost half have recently experienced urban flooding. Among the first 16 pilot cities, at least 9 have faced such issues. Furthermore, during China's rapid urban development, underground infrastructure projects have become a grey area due to the lack of systematic planning by the government and insufficient oversight during construction. These underground projects, encompassing drainage, water supply, electricity, internet, and gas pipelines, collectively known as the 5 utility tunnels, operate in isolation. In China, each of these sectors is overseen by different authorities. Drainage falls under municipal management. Water supply is by water companies, electricity by power departments, telecommunications by companies like China Telecom, and gas by gas companies. Yet, since they all operate underground, conflicts between them are frequent and deep-seated. No city can realistically implement unified underground network planning across its entirety. It often results in each department planning and working independently. As a result, roads are frequently dug up and refilled more than once by different departments, resembling a zipper being constantly opened and closed. This has become a source of frustration for residents who feel powerless against it. A prevalent issue is the underestimation of population growth and water discharge. Following this, with an economic downturn and reduced fiscal revenue, the effort to maintain and renovate municipal network diminishes, exacerbating these challenges. This situation is becoming increasingly intolerable for the wider Chinese public.